Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to today's strategic session. We are officially stepping out of the traditional classroom today and walking straight into the corporate boardroom. You can think of this explainer as your absolute masterclass for navigating those high-stakes, high-pressure negotiations. We're going to be breaking down the advanced C1 English language you absolutely need when the tension is high, the budgets are tight, and you have to win an argument without alienating your colleagues.
So here is our strategic roadmap for today. We're starting off with the boardroom dilemma, followed by a look at the B2 trap. Then we'll explore pragmatics and validating to win, uncover some crucial C1 syntax secrets, run through a quick error clinic, and finally, put it all to the test with the final challenge.
Section 1. The Boardroom Dilemma.
I want you to really immerse yourself in this scenario for a second. Imagine you're sitting in this sleek, glass-walled conference room. The tension is literally thick enough to cut with a knife. On one side of the table, you have executives fiercely pushing for a drastic corporate budget cut. On your side, you are fiercely defending a massive merger that you know will define the future of the company. Suddenly, a senior executive leans forward, looks right at you, and drops this very real business objection. We simply cannot afford this merger right now. The budget cuts are too severe. Every single eye in that room snaps to you. What you say in the next 10 seconds is going to decide whether you win this debate or lose the merger entirely.
Section 2. The B2 Trap.
Now, what's really interesting here is that the real danger in this debate, it actually isn't the budget. It's your own linguistic limitations. If you reply to that executive using standard, intermediate English, you are walking straight into what we call the B2 trap. See, relying on basic B2 words like but, however, or although in a complex negotiation leads to something called pragmatolinguistic failure. That's when you use inadequate language to perform a complex speech act, like disagreeing with a boss. And here is the kicker. Native speakers judge this incredibly harshly. It isn't just a grammar slip-up. It severely damages your persuasive power and, frankly, makes you sound a lot less professional.
And that leads us directly into pragmatic fossilization. This is a phenomenon where adult learners permanently hold on to simplified language rules. We see it literally all the time. Highly educated, brilliant executives get completely stuck on repetitive B2 vocabulary. They just use but and however over and over again. And doing that completely strips the diplomatic richness right out of their discourse precisely when they need to sound the most sophisticated and flexible.
Section 3. Pragmatics, validating to win.
So, to break out of this fossilization, we have to understand the psychology here. At the C1 level, grammar isn't just about rules anymore. It's about managing relationships. Direct disagreement in a boardroom, that's what linguists call a face-threatening act. If you just say, "You're wrong, we need this merger," you are actively threatening the professional reputation, the face, of that other executive. To actually win the debate, you have to use politeness strategies to validate your opponent and save their face first before you drop your counterargument.
So here is our strategic playbook, the 3-step psychological takedown. Step 1. Acknowledge your opponent's point. Step 2. Deploy a C1 concession connector. Step 3. Pivot smoothly to your winning counterargument. You're basically agreeing just enough to lower their defenses and show respect, and then you strike elegantly with your commanding argument. It's essentially linguistic judo.
Section 4. C1 Syntax Secrets. Okay, let's get into the heavy hitters. These are the highly specific syntactical formulas you need to master. We have albeit followed by an adjective or adverb, notwithstanding followed by a noun or the phrase the fact that, and much as or much though followed by a full clause. These are the complex structural weapons that will replace your basic B2 words and instantly elevate your authority. But you can't just throw them around randomly. You have to build these structures perfectly to get that commanding executive tone.
Let's move to Section 5 and see how this builds in the error clinic.
We are going to run a quick autopsy on some failed B2 phrases and fix them with our new C1 tools. First up, the classic B2 response. I understand your point, but. We hear this literally everywhere, right? It's defensive. It's predictable. Now, contrast that with the C1 version. Much as I understand your point. So the crucial takeaway here is how beautifully much as validates the opponent right up front. It signals, I hear you, I respect you, but I'm still about to disagree. It is a massive diplomatic upgrade.
Next example. B2. It costs a lot, but we need it. Honestly, that sounds a bit like a teenager asking for a new laptop, not a CEO defending a merger. Look at the C1 version.
Much though it costs, it remains an imperative investment. See how much, though, just adds immense lexical richness and executive weight? It frames the extreme cost as a recognized reality rather than a roadblock.
Here's another one. B2. We have budget cuts, but we will proceed. It's okay, but it lacks punch. The C1 upgrade. Notwithstanding the budget cuts, we must proceed with the merger. That notwithstanding right there is an absolute corporate power move. It dismisses the obstacle with flawless elegance while maintaining a highly formal register.
And finally, B2. The merger is risky, although necessary. Compare that to C1. The merger, albeit necessary, carries significant risk. And this brilliantly illustrates the concise power of albeit. It completely shifts the tone from a casual chat to a highly professional analytical assessment. You embed the concession right into the middle of the sentence without breaking your rhythm.
Section 6. The final challenge.
All right, we've covered the theory, the syntax, and the errors. It is time for a live corporate simulation. We're back in the boardroom. Here is that executive's objection one more time. This merger is too risky for our current budget. I want you to mentally construct your rebuttal right now. How do you reply using notwithstanding or much as? Remember those 3 steps: validate, connect, pivot. I'll give you just a quiet beat to build your C1 sentence. Got it?
Well, if you formulated something along the lines of, notwithstanding the current budget constraints, the long-term ROI of this merger is undeniable, or maybe, much as I appreciate the risks to our budget, the cost of inaction is far higher, then you absolutely nailed it. I'm going to leave you with this final thought. Will you stay trapped in B2 fossilization, or are you ready to actually command the boardroom with your new C1 syntax? The choice is entirely yours. Keep practicing, keep leveling up, and we'll see you in our next strategic session.